This project is about older people's sexuality. This is one of those things that people tend to ignore or not be interested in. So in order to try and explore this more and bring it into teaching and learning within health and social care, we decided to form a partnership with an older people's theatre company called First Framework and Third Thought, with London South Bank University Social Work Department, and get together and try to explore some of the really challenging and difficult themes around what it means to consider older people's sexuality. We thought that using arts, for example drama, would really help us approach this in a new way. In fact, the people that participated, the social work students and the older people, the older actors, had never even met each other before our first workshop. Surprisingly, people started to work together straight away, start to film the most amazing and challenging ideas. You know, when we go into people's homes, we really get involved in some of their personal care, in some of their relationships, but it's always on our own terms. You know, we interfere with people's bodily functions, but we don't sort of think about, well, you know, what does it mean to not be able to express yourself sexually? The clips are very thought-provoking, and they're really there to stimulate discussion. You might not agree with some of the ideas because they are quite controversial. They're not necessarily what we think as being politically correct, but they're there really to plant some thoughts into your mind and think, well, how would you respond to this? What do you think about this? And to get some discussion going.
I'm going to talk about the OAPs using public funds to to seek prostitutes or buy sex. I'm quite concerned about the whole issue in the sense that whereas I think that we are looking for needs-led service, and in this age of personal budgets and self-assessments, older people should be allowed to buy a service they think meets their needs best. They should be allowed to go and use the personal budgets to do that. But at the same time, I feel that there is no monitoring about the sexual health for these people, and what about the implications for the sexual health of the older people? Who looks after these issues? Who monitors these? Who makes sure that the sex that these older people are buying is safe and that they are not risking their health in the process of doing so?
My name is John, and I'd like to talk about this complex issue of sex with older people and what they can do about it. And it seems to be a very grey area where in one way that they're told to be active in sex. In other ways, there's many constrictions, many restrictions on what they do. For instance, I know people who are in sheltered housing have been told that it's not the thing to do to invite young ladies into. They may even be friends, but they're thought of as being procured for sex. So I think there's a lot of things that need to be sorted out, and if the clarification could have been done on these things, it would make life a lot easier for us to. Because a lot of us would like still to be involved in sex, but because of restrictions, we are not very clear on what we can do and what we can't do.
I think a big concern for women of my age, and I know this from other people that I've spoken to and friends, it becomes a difficult point in your life when you're not free enough to go and out socially and sort of engage in sex with people you meet. You feel that age for a woman it is an obstacle, And the way to meet people is very difficult unless you're in a wide circle where there are lots of men that aren't engaged with people. Because unfortunately there are far, far more many women that are alone than men. And you've the fear that somebody's coming into your home to take something or do something that you wouldn't agree with. It's very difficult for a woman because you feel these obstacles that you've been brought up with all your life. To be careful, don't do this, don't do that, don't ever have sex with a man on your first date or second. Well, you don't until you're married. That was a belief in my age. So it's very difficult for a woman alone and living alone to find someone suitable to have a relationship, unless you're very lucky.
Hello, my concern today is about the older people, about sexuality. There was once I worked in the home where was a couple which stayed in the room together, so they had to separate them because the lady was fragile and the man was still active in sex. So he wanted sex with the woman, but they didn't allow the man. If the man used to go to the woman screamed and had to go and help. So that man deserved something. So the government should look and see that those people who are still in need of their sexuality, they should do something about it, not to leave them and be abandoned as they are not human beings. So they need to look after them and fulfill their needs.
Sex is wonderful, it's a wonderful gift of God, as I would put it, and I think that's shared with my partner. And relationships, well, they're everything, aren't they? They're what we live by every day and bring joy and
for me, sex has come first, relationship after. When the two work together, hey, fabulous. Never seems to last. So I'm comfortable to have a relationship with one, sex with somebody totally different. That's cool with me. No problems.
We had children, we adopted children, and now they have children, so there are more people to relate to, and that seems to be something that keeps developing and in many ways getting sweeter, I would say.
Well, when you start out very young, the thing is that you have all these romantic notions and things, so it does kind of conflict with the fella. He's got something else on his mind. But if you're still together, and this did happen to me, somebody I'd broken up with, met again after 18 years, and it was as if, picking up where we left off, and it was, nicer, kinder, softer, but the sex was still hot.
I suppose sexual experience means that a man knows how to treat a woman better, probably, over the years, and therefore there's a certain gift in maturity, I think, in the sexual field. But whether it's better, I don't know. Maybe.
Do you feel sexy?
Yes. Oh, yes, I do. I think that's been a surprise to my wife, who I think believed that probably around, I don't know what age, somewhere around retirement age, that part of the body would retire too, but it didn't prove to be the case. I'm happy to say, and I think she probably is too.
Sex and my husband are two different things. He's forgotten about it a long time ago, so I'm not pleased about that. A girl can be celibate for so long only. But I'm quite happy if I want to think about sex. Now I think in terms of younger fellas, of course. When I was a young girl, it was always with an older man because I felt he really knew more than I did and could teach me things. So now I'd like to pass on my sex skills to a younger person.
He's met Margaret. Margaret's changed his entire life. He's completely a different person now. But I don't think anybody else sees it the way I see him. Mostly, my parents feel that this is completely unacceptable behavior on his part. He is the oldest son. And they think that nobody's going to accept his relationship with Margaret in the community. They feel my younger brothers and sisters are going to be bullied. The community is going to ostracize us, not speak to us. According to them, he's brought a lot of shame to the family. And he's made my chances for a better life limited. I don't know. I can't see how that is possible. But they think that because he's seeing Margaret at the moment, and because Margaret is English and Margaret is old, nobody's going to get married to me. I'm not going to be accepted in another Muslim family. But I don't think that's true. I don't think Margaret should be judged for her age. I think if Arif and Margaret are happy and they found happiness together, that's what it should be. They should be allowed to get on with their life. Not because they shouldn't be stopped just because they can't go to the mosque or Arif's not going to be accepted in the society. If we all make a stand, probably Arif and Margaret will be very happy together. And it will change people's attitude towards relationships.
Supporting Olive because he has lost his self-esteem about his sexuality, the way he's dressing. People are having assumption on him, but that's the way he wants to be. He sometimes wants to dress like a man and he wants to dress like a woman. So as myself, I see it as is his personality, the way he wants to dress, that's what he wants, that's what he wants to be. So I'm there for him, to support him the way he wants to be, so I'll be there for him. So there's no why he is being denied of what he wants to be. So Oliver is there, he wants to dress like a woman. So I'll be supporting him so that he doesn't lose his self-esteem.
I can't believe how fortunate I've been to meet Arif, who is a very, very much younger man than myself and a Muslim. He's changed my life completely. Unfortunately, there are people that disapprove violently because of our cultures being so different. But his sister, Bradsfield, has been wonderful. She is the only person that's really approved of our liaison. I found it difficult at first because I couldn't believe a much younger man would be interested in me, for me. I don't know how to say this without being too conscious, but when it became a sexual partnership, I was terribly aware of my old body, with his being so much younger. But because of the type of person he is, and he's so good and kind, that was completely overlooked and forgotten. So we've become extremely strong. There are many people in my family and amongst my friends that disapprove. They think he's been after me because I have a nice house. I'm in a quite comfortable position financially. So they can't believe that we are together because we really, really want to be together for ourselves, not for any other reason in the world. And as I've said before,